Welcome back, Troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today I have another one of the true Buckethead signature Les Pauls. It's always a great day when I have one of these, except for when I got this one. This one's got a twisted neck. I was so excited to get my hands on another one of these, but when I found the twisted neck, my heart just sank. The twist isn't incredibly bad, but it is there and it definitely affects the value of this guitar. Now luckily the twist to the neck is more so on the treble side, so that makes it so your action is actually a little bit lower up here where you want it to be, while you can still have it a little higher for your chords. So some players actually find that to be a positive. However, it still needs to be disclosed. This can no longer be a top dollar Buckethead because technically to get it back to factory spec, you would basically have to rip this fretboard off and plane the neck down. Yes, you can do heat treatments. You can leave the strings halfway off and halfway on. But from what I've read, that's not always a permanent solution. The only way to really fix it is to take the fretboard off. So it's a little bit of a shame because these are incredibly rare and sought after guitars. If you don't know who Buckethead is, he's basically a very prolific shredder as well as a musician. I first heard of Buckethead because of Guitar Hero 2. They had his song Jordan on there. And his style is semi-what robotic, but at the same time it's very melodic as well. You can't just judge him based off of his shredding skills, because there's other songs like Soothsayer where he just really shows you how complex of a musician he is. So if you haven't taken a listen to any Buckethead songs, I definitely suggest you do if you're into really nice guitar work. Now this is kind of a very bold statement. It is a pure white guitar, and this Les Paul is actually considerably larger than a regular Les Paul. Buckethead is a rather tall guy. He has massive hands. He's kind of a quirky character, but his music is definitely very nice. So just how much larger is this Les Paul compared to a normal one? I did a separate video on that the first time I had a true signature, but basically this guitar is 4 inches longer than a regular Les Paul. It has 2 additional frets, so you have 24. It's 1 inch wider this way and a 1/2 inch wider here. And you have a 27-inch scale on these. These are almost baritone guitars. I believe a true baritone is 28 inches. And Gibson has made a few studio models that have that baritone scale, but this is what Buckethead wanted. So you have very hot 496R 500T pickups. These are the same type of pickups that are in the modern Flying V. They're really hot ceramic pickups, but what's unique here is that you have a coil split feature, and that is located on your master tone knob. And then you just have a single master volume. So what are these arcade style switches? What do they do? These are called kill switches. These are basically what makes Buckethead very unique. What a kill switch does is, well, it kills the sound. So if you're playing and then you press that down, all your noise stops. It's just like unplugging your input from the output jack. But you can do it multiple times, and that kind of gives you a stutter effect, which can be used in many different ways when you're playing very quickly. In the song that was featured in Guitar Hero, Jordan, that's how he makes the main Jordan riff. Now these bodies are also chambered, so while this is a huge Les Paul, it's not quite as heavy as you would think it would be. I mean, this thing is lighter than most Les Pauls I have. These usually weigh in around 9.5 pounds. They still have a maple top, mahogany back with mahogany neck, and there's a little bit of controversy of what these fretboards actually are. The original Gibson website, back when these things were for sale new, said ebony. However, it was later updated to rich light. Personally, I think this one is ebony because it kind of has the wood grainage to it. But being a baritone scale and a larger guitar in general, these things can take a little bit to get used to, but once you do, all other Les Pauls feel like little toys. because this thing is just massive. It really does capture like your low ends and high ends even better. These guitars really just sound massive. The tuners on these signatures also vary. Both variations have locking tuners, but some of the earlier ones got locking Grovers. And I've heard that the first 50 Bucketheads made have slightly different binding. I've never been able to see a good photo comparison of that though, so I really don't know if that's 100% true or not. So overall, if you're lucky enough to ever see one of these things in person, definitely try it out. I think it helps that Buckethead was one of my early guitar idols, because I am a guitarist born out of the Guitar Hero generation. That is where I was first introduced to guitar, and now look where I am. Now that we know a little bit about this guitar, let's hear how it sounds. This guitar weighs 9 pounds, 4.2 ounces, and features a 50s medium rounded profile. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the condition of this guitar. This guitar is in fair condition. The largest defect right here is a chip of wood out of the headstock. Now, that little chip is inside of the case. It was just holding on by a thread, so instead of losing it, I decided just to take it off. But that little chip isn't perfect. It has a small chip out of it as well. And I do not have that piece. So you could put a little bit of white out over there to make it blend in a little bit more. But besides that, you just have some general light scratches. The truss rod does function. I tried to play with it a little bit to see if it was just an over-tightened truss rod that was causing the twist. I was unable to alleviate the twist, but I think I made it slightly better. You most likely have an ebony board on this one, and I only see very mild fret wear. You have some light usage wear on the face of the guitar here, but not a lot, just a few light scratches, some polish marks and handling wear, and a few light nicks and dings. Everything is original on this guitar. Here's the back of the headstock. Serial number, just so you guys know you're not buying a twisted neck for full price, is 106700696. And it is made in USA. Now once again, just because this has a twisted neck does not mean this thing is not playable. It's actually perfectly playable. Most people probably wouldn't even notice the twist. There's a little bit of light fret buzz, but I think that really could just be lived with. It's not too bad, you just have some general light wear and tear to the neck. The back of the guitar here has some light scratches as well. There's some very mild buckle worming marks and handling wear, but for the most part this guitar is in good shape. The sides also show some light wear. Here's another area where the finish has kind of been chipped off, but now you can see the mahogany body exposed. And then along here you have another area of that. And then here, there's kind of some black scuffing. I think you could probably polish that off though. That is not worn through to the wood or anything. So this is kind of a player's grade example of this guitar. So overall, it's fairly clean if you can live with the chip out of the headstock and a few chips in the finish here and some black scuffing. I mean, other than that, I don't think anybody would really have any real issues with the condition of this guitar. It's just a little bit of a shame about the twist to the neck. The one good thing if you were going to repair this guitar is that there is no binding that you have to worry about breaking off. So I think it would be actually fairly easy to take this fretboard off and plane the neck level if you had to, and put the fretboard back on with very minimal evidence of that ever happening. We'll do a blacklight test now. I always like the way these things blacklight. The buttons turn a weird orange color and these pickups just glow crazily. Now the finish does have a very slight glow to it, but everything's looking the way I would expect it to. Face of the headstock is also glowing the way I would expect to see, but again, you do have that chip out of the headstock up there. Back of the guitar also glowing the way I would expect it to. Nothing out of the ordinary on this one. The neck is also in great shape. But no breaks to the headstock area, and nothing major besides, once again, that little chip on the side. The sides of the guitar, again, you have that little area right there, and this area, and again, the black scuffing. This guitar does come in its original case. If one of these is missing their case, good luck finding another one, because these are an oversized case to fit the oversized body. Everything functions on this one the way it should, and the interior is a beautiful white color. It still slightly has that new Gibson smell to it as well. It's a little dirty, and you can see some glue stains in there, but for the most part, it is in great shape. Inside the case sleeps some of the original case candy. Basically just the owner's manual and the inspected card sheet. If you think you might be interested in being the next owner of this very rare true signature Les Paul Buckethead, feel free to contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys, Troglys. Thank you, Troglodytes, for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.